Hare Krishna. Summary of Canto 4, Chapter 24. Chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. After describing the great life and character of Maharaj Prithu, Maitreya began to speak about the genealogical line of the Prithu dynasty. Vijitashva was the eldest son of Prithu Maharaj, and he had a reputation just like his father. He became the emperor. Being affectionate to his younger brothers, he gave them different regions to rule. He gave the eastern region to Haryaksha, southern region to Dhumrakesha, western region to Vrika, and the northern region to Dravina. Formally, Vijitashva pleased Indra and received from him the ability to disappear. Therefore, he also had another name, Antardhana. Although Indra was stealing the horse from his father, the very liberal Vijitashva purposefully excused him because he knew that Indra was a great demigod and a servant of the Lord. So Indra became very pleased with him and gave him this boon of Antardhana. Vijitashva married Shikhandini and had sons by the name Pavaka, Pavamana, and Shuchi. These sons were formerly fire gods. They were cursed by Vasishta and became the sons of Vijitashva, but later they attained their positions as demigods of fire. Vijitashva with Nabaswati had a son by the name Havidhana. Considering his kingly duties like taxing, punishing, and finding people to be very severe and painful, Vijitashva gave them up on the plea of performing a very long sacrifice. Although engaged in sacrifice, he worshipped the Supreme Lord, the Paramatma, in the form of Hamsavatara, and he attained the Lord's planet very easily. Havardhani had 6 sons: Barhishat, Gaya, Shukla, Krishna, Satya, and Jitavrata. Barhishat was a Prajapati expert in Karmakandiya sacrifices and mystic yoga. He performed many sacrifices and he scattered kushagras all over the earth with their tips pointing to the east. Prachinagrahi. Therefore, he is called as Prachina Barhishat. On the order of Brahma, Barhishat or Prachina Barhi or Prachina Barhishat married Shatadruti, the very young and beautiful daughter of the ocean god. Shatadruti's beauty attracted even Agni during her marriage ceremony. Everyone was captivated by the thinking of her ankle bells. Prachina Barhi and Shatadruti, they gave birth to the 10 Prachetas. These 10 Prachetas were all equal in their vows and endowed with full religiosity. The Prachetas, being ordered by their father to beget children, entered the ocean for 10,000 years to perform austerities and to worship the Supreme Lord. On their way, they met Lord Shiva, who was pleased with them and gave them instructions and his prayers. With complete control, the Prachetas meditated on the prayers, they chanted it, and they worshipped the instructions of Lord Shiva. The orders of the spiritual master are indeed the sustenance of the disciple. Perfectional meditation is always meditating on the order of the spiritual master. The Prachetas understood this very well. At that time, Vidura asked questions to Maitreya. He said, "What did Lord Shiva, being pleased, speak with the Prachetas when they met him? How did they get his rare darshan?" Lord Shiva is self-satisfied, but to help people accomplish their material desires, he manifests in the material world accompanied by his dangerous energies like goddess Kali and Durga. At that time, Maitreya said, the Prachetas accepted their father's instructions, Pitravakyam, on their heads and travelled westward to perform austerities. They saw a huge, beautiful lake which was as calm as the mind of a saint. Its inhabitants appeared extremely peaceful. It was filled with various beautiful lotuses, blooming in the day, night, and twilight, and sweet-sounding birds like swans, cranes, chakavakas, and karanadvas. There were also trees and creepers and humming bees, and the wind scattered lotus pollen everywhere. The Prachetas became amazed hearing the attractive celestial songs. At the time, they saw Lord Shiva with a golden complexion, bluish throat, and 3 eyes, along with his associates, emerged from the lake. They all offered their obeisances unto Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva was very pleased with the Prachetas because of their knowledge of Dharma Jnana, and their good conduct, as they were Shila Sampanna, very, very good in their conduct. So he began to speak to them. Lord Shiva told them, "All good fortune unto you. I know your plans and have come here to actually give you mercy." Shiva explains why he is merciful to the Prachetas. He said, "Krishna's devotees are very dear to me. Anyone who's completely surrendered to Vasudeva, who's the controller of everything, is actually very dear to me. A person fixed in Dharma for 100 births attains the post of Brahma. By more pious acts, one attains me, Shiva. but by unalloyed devotional service, a Vaishnava attains Vaikuntha. Therefore, devotees like you are as dear to me as the Lord Himself, and the devotees also consider me as dear to them as the Lord Himself. Therefore, let me give you a pure, auspicious, and transcendental mantra, the chanting of which bestows the highest benediction. With a merciful heart, Lord Shiva spoke to the Prachetas who stood there with their folded hands. The Rudra Gita begins. Obeisances to the Lord in the form of Chakravyuha and his presiding deities of the elements for self-purification. You are the best of the self-realized, since you are always auspicious for the self-realized. This is the prayer that is offered to the Lord. The purpose of this prayer is so that the reciter may also have that auspicious condition. Offering to the Lord, you are worshipable by virtue of all perfect instructions you give. The purpose of this prayer is so that let me have perfection by worshipping you. Next, Vasudeva, the deity Vasudeva, presides over consciousness or chitta, and the function of the deity is that he is the controller of the sense and the sense objects. The purpose of this prayer is to make one's chitta peaceful and unchanging and make it conscious of bhakti by revealing the Lord's beauty. Next, Shankarsana. He is the master of integration. He is the deity of false ego, and the function of the deity is that he is the master of disintegration or the destroyer of the universe, Antakarya. And the purpose of the prayer is so that bind my possessiveness to the Lord and my ego to my true identity as his devotee. Next is Pradyumna, who is responsible for universal growth. He is the deity of intelligence and he is the enlightener of the entire universe. And the reason for offering him a prayer is so that I can wake up my intelligence so that it will situate me in bhakti. Next is Aniruddha. He is the deity of the mind, and the function of Aniruddha is that he is the director of the mind, which is the chief of all the senses. The purpose of the prayer to Aniruddha is that so that my mind gets attracted to the Lord's lotus feet through bhakti alone and keep it in the perfect state of cleanliness. Like this, Lord Shiva taught the Prachetas that you offer prayers to these deities, and after purifying the four components of the Antakarna, which is Chitta, Ahankara, Buddhi and Mana, by worshipping their Upasya deities, you must offer respects to the Lord in the form of the presiding deities of the elements in 4 verses in order to purify the gross elements which constitute the body and the external senses. So he said, Surya, whose Aniruddha's expansion, is the deity of the eye. The function of the deity is that he constantly nourishes the jiva by rain and so on. He is also the door to the heavens and liberation. Therefore, the purpose of the prayer is that may my eyes be purified to see the form of the Lord. Next is Agni. He is the deity of speech. He accomplishes the actions of the 4 priests and expands the fire of sacrifice. The purpose of the prayer is to engage my words in the chanting of the glories of the Lord. Though the mind had already been purified by offering respects to its Upasya deity Aniruddha, because the mind is so difficult to control, he again purifies it by offering respects to the presiding deity, the moon god, who is Soma. Next, Soma, who is the presiding deity of the mind, the function is that he is the provider of the Pitralokas as well as the demigods. We pray to him saying that please purify my debts to the Pitas, Devtas, sages and Jivas and completely engage my mind in devotional service. He is also the deity of taste, and his function is that he is the giver of taste for the jivas and the form of all taste. And the purpose of the prayer is that may my tongue always taste the sweetness of things related to the Lord, and let me not taste anything other than prasadam. Next is Hiranyagarbha, who is the embodiment of the earth, and the function of the deity is that he controls the souls of all living beings. The reason to offer prayer is that he may stimulate my nose to smell the fragrance of the Lord, engage my body and everyone's body in the Lord's service. Next is Vayu. He is the deity of air, and the function of the deity is that he is the protector of the 3 worlds who maintains the mind, senses and the body, and the purpose of the prayer is so that he may enter the mind, senses and body as Saha, Ojas and Bala and make them suitable for worshipping the Lord. Like this he may stimulate my touch to feel the softness of the Lord's body. Next is Nabha, or ether, and he is the deity of sound, and the function of the deity is that he reveals the actual meaning of everything. He supports everything internally and externally, and he is the ultimate goal of pious acts both in this world and beyond. The purpose of the prayer is that to make my ears hear about the beauty of the Lord, reveal the meaning of the name of the mantra and bhakti scriptures, chanting Hare Krishna. Next is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is the giver of all inspiration and all results. And the function is that he is the instigator of all dharmas, he is the giver of all results, and he is the giver of all result of even irreligious acts. And the purpose of the prayer is that a person offers all his respectful obeisances unto Lord Sri Krishna. He is also the giver of death and miseries. He is the topmost of all benedictors. He is the supreme Manu. He is the perfection of all kinds of mantra and the cause of all causes. And then there is Lord Shiva, who is the deity of false ego. And he is the reservoir of the three kinds of energies, Adideva, Adiatma, and Adibhauta. The Devata senses and the elements. He is the source of the egotism. Rudra is the form of knowledge and action, and he is the revealer of the Vedas. The purpose of the prayer is that may the Lord's mercy purify my false ego so that the real ego can be awakened. The spirit soul performing devotional activities can be finally awakened. So remembering in this way, purifying the body, senses and the mind, and by offering respects, Lord Shiva became offering respects to Lord Shiva, one can become qualified. Now he prays to see the Lord. Seeing and serving the Lord's glory is for meditation on the Lord. So the next part of the prayer is that praying to see a particular form of the Lord. The prayer is, I wish to see you exactly in the form that your very dear devotees worship. Only that form is liked by the devotees, and that can only perfectly satisfy all the demands of the senses. The Lord is the collection of all beauty. The Lord glistens. He is dark like rain cloud, and he is the sum total of all beauty. Sarva Saundarya Sangraham. Lord Krishna contains all the beauties in the material and spiritual worlds. It also indicates that the Lord gives more credit to his devotees than he takes to himself. The Lord is extremely beautiful with four long arms. He has a noble, attractive face. He has eyes like lotus petals. He is graceful. He has beautiful eyebrows, raised nose, fine teeth and forehead, and well-proportionated decorated ears. The Lord has ever-increasing beauty. The Lord's joyful glance indicates his affection. His beauty is enhanced by his curling hair. His cloth glows like lotus pollen. He wears glittering earrings. He wears a crown, bracelets, a necklace, anklets, and a belt. His beauty is increased by his Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, his garland and jewels. The Lord's lion-like shoulders glitter with reflections from his jewels. The Kaustubha jewel beautifies his neck. His chest, glowing with a mark of imperishable Lakshmi Srivatsa, surpasses a gold-testing stone. The lines on his abdomen is like a banyan leaf. Beautifully, it moves with the inhaling and exhaling of the Lord. The universe sprouted from that deep, twirled navel and wishes to go back into that navel forever. The Lord's beauty of the lower body is that he has especially attractive black hips covered with cloth and enclosed by a belt. He is elegant with symmetrical feet, calves, thighs, and knees. Lord Shiva has thus described the bodily features of the Lord authoritatively. Now he wants to see the lotus feet of the Lord. So he says, your two lotus feet are as beautiful as two autumn lotus petals, and they dissipate the darkness in the heart by effulgence of their toenails. Kindly show me that form of yours which dissipates darkness in the hearts of a devotee. O Guru, you are the teacher of bhakti for us who are covered by ignorance. So the result of meditation on this form is that one who desires purification should meditate on this form. Devotion to this form gives freedom from fear of death even to those practicing varnashrama duties. Then he offers a prayer that talks about how bhakti is the topmost. You are easily attained by your devotees, but rarely attained by any living being. Even Indra and Brahma desire you. They desire devotional service. You are the ultimate destination of the Kumaras and the other knowers of Atma. Worshipping you is very difficult even for the liberated souls, but it is possible only by pure devotional service, which is very rare. Therefore, who would desire Swarga, which is devoid of your lotus feet? Invincible time personified cannot approach a soul surrendered unto your lotus feet, but that time vanquishes the entire universe simply by the expansion of the Lord's eyebrows. Even half a moment's association with such a devotee cannot be compared to Swarga or liberation. One who prays in this way will surely achieve devotee association. Therefore, please give me the association of your devotees who are completely purified by the famous Ganga rising from your lotus feet. They are compassionate, they have proper conduct and pure hearts. Such association is all your mercy. A devotee's heart, which is purified by bhakti, is never agitated by objects of the external energy. which is like a dark well. Having been blessed by Bhakti Devi, he understands very easily the Lord's name, form, fame, qualities, and so on. However, some sages see the Lord's form only as Brahman, but that is you, since it is just the Lord's effulgence spreading his glory everywhere. The Brahman is all-pervading impersonal Brahman in which the entire universe is manifest, and that Brahman is the Lord himself. The Lord creates, maintains and destroys this universe repeatedly by Maya, which cannot bewilder the Lord. But living entities who are bewildered by Maya think that this universe is separated from the Lord. Therefore, the prayer is to the Lord is to realize the Supreme Lord who is completely independent. The Lord's universal form consists of all five elements: the senses, mind, intelligence, false ego, and the Paramatma. Karma yogis and jnana yogis worship the Lord by their respective actions and respective positions. The prayers continue to the Lord. It says, you are the original person endowed with sleeping energy. When that material energy is agitated, the three modes act, and as a result, the total material energy manifests. This material world is created to give facility to the living entities who want to imitate the activities of that Lord. It is just like a mother who gives toys to her children who wants to imitate her cooking in the kitchen. A child's play lasts for a few hours and the living entity's play lasts for many lifetimes. After creation, they prayed to the Lord saying that you enter into the four types of forms. Being within the hearts of the living entities, you know how they are enjoying their senses like bees enjoying honey from a honeycomb. The four kinds of forms are born of the embryo, eggs, perspiration, seeds. Regardless of how these living entities appear, they are all busy in their pursuit of sense enjoyment. Human society is just like a beehive. Just as bees bite one another while trying to enjoy honey, humans also suffer the bites from other persons or nations while trying to enjoy their hard-earned money. Time causes everything to be destroyed by something else, as one animal is eaten by another. Time scatters everything as the wind scatters the clouds in the sky. Time suddenly strikes the greedy person making material objects as a snake seizes a mouse and very easily swallows him. What intelligent person would reject a lotus feet, which Brahma worshipped out of fear of rebirth, and the 14 Manus worshipped with his very strong faith? The final verse is the summary of all these prayers. It says, you are the goal of the wise and you are death for the ignorant. So Lord Shiva, he concludes this prayer and he gives the Parashruti. He said to the Prachetas, my dear Prachetas, please perform your prescribed duties with pure hearts, offering your minds to the Lord and chant this prayer. Perform your prescribed duties, he said, and the statement indicates that the Prachetas were actually Karma Mishra Bhaktas. He told them, worship the Lord. Lord Hari is in everyone's heart. Chant his glories, meditate on him and worship him. Studying it, contemplating it, being strong in vows and concentrating your intelligence, you should chant all this prayer repeatedly with great respect. Actually, this prayer was taught to me by Brahma and ordered by him. Rudra created progeny. By chanting this prayer, the Rudras destroyed their ignorance. So he gave the origin of the Rudra Gita and then he gave the Palashruti. He said one becomes a devotee by chanting this prayer. One also attains the highest benefit of actually becoming dear to the Lord, being a devotee of the Lord. And just to praise knowledge, Lord Shiva said, of all auspicious items in this world, knowledge is supremely auspicious, because with that one can cross over this ocean of nescience. However, knowledge gives more difficulties and it is not suitable as the boat to cross samsara. Therefore, in this verse, he speaks about bhakti next. He said, vibrating the song with faith, one can please the Lord who is very rarely conquered. A steady person attains the best of whatever he desires by singing this song. Hearing these prayers early in the morning and letting others hear them certainly frees one from the bondage of karma. So therefore he told the Prachetas, recite these prayers with great concentration and these are very, very effective. And at the end, you will surely achieve the desired results. You will attain your desired result he said, and this indicates that yes, they had material desires. So, this completes the summary of Canto 4, Chapter 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva, the Rudra Gita. Hare Krishna.